Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 5 of the Stevens Motorsports podcast. Should be a pretty good one tonight. Got a lot of fun personalities in here as usual. We're going to cover everything from week 13, some of the NASCAR stuff, NASCAR news that's out there. Unfortunately, we don't have Robin tonight as she decided that she wasn't feeling that great, so we're just going to go ahead and get right into it here and hope you guys enjoy. So how many of us actually did races in week 13 this week? Because I only did like one. Outside of an NIS.
I did 2.
I did several.
I did 1, I killed Tom, and then I moved on.
I did one, I killed Tom and moved on.
Well, I take it back. I did 2 oval races, and I did about 2 or 3 prototype races at Daytona.
I think I did 3. 2 of them were the Super Formula. Those things are really good around Spa, I'm not going to lie.
Huh.
Like, no joke.
So, with that being said, because obviously they brought back, the 87 Gen 4 truck ridiculousness, which I think all of us at least kind of run, or some of us ran.
That was actually somewhat enjoyable.
I don't know. I didn't have a good time. I got murdered.
I won the only race that I ran there.
My thought was number one, like, I don't know if they need to have some more official races during week 13. Like, I understand it's week 13, we're shutting things down, but at the same time, the NISs were a nightmare.
Part of that is they don't have Class A.
Right, which would probably fix some of it, but there was a lot of guys in the NIS races that I've never even seen race before, and a couple of them said, no, I came over from road to try this out during week 13.
Yeah.
Well, that's your problem. You got a bunch of newbies.
Which, by all means, join the fun. But I mean, if you're gonna run like garbage, and you're gonna race like it's a road course race, don't.
Right.
Well, and don't expect to be driven like it's a road course.
That too, especially when you figure in, okay, it's at Kansas, which already has its issues, and I'm going to get to a couple of those here in a minute. But there's down in the corners, there's 2 separate lines. There's a high line or there's the really low line. There's not really an in between unless you've got a setup that seems to work everywhere, which from what I've seen is few and far between at Kansas. But don't expect to dive bomb the inside, and then you're going to have the outside coming out of the corner. The guy on the outside is going to steamroll your ass.
Right.
Potentially.
Exactly.
Which brings me to the problems that I saw with Kansas, and I saw it earlier in the season when we were there earlier this year. To me, the whole dipping under the white line in the tri-oval, at least in iRacing wise, needs to stop.
Yeah.
Because the problem is you don't have a spotter telling you if that guy dipped or not. If he's dipping, cool. But if I guess I should say if everybody's dipping, okay, that's fine. But if we're not gonna, if not everybody's gonna do it, it makes it tough because all of a sudden you see them fan right out, and then they come back together and nobody blends worth a shit, and everybody winds up in the wall.
The other side of that
No, that's why I'm muted.
You have everybody dipping, and then you have that one person that gets on your inside and doesn't dip.
Right.
And you end up dooring them because they're the only car on track that didn't dip.
Right.
Now, part of that also has to be, at least in my eyes, and I may be 100% wrong here, is that you have to be aware of your surroundings yourself as a racer.
Right.
Like,
and that's fine.
you can run your line, just don't expect somebody else to understand where your line's going. If that makes any sense at all.
Right, but here's the problem, at least that I'm seeing with this, right, is the fact that you have a lot of guys, like even the guys dipping below the line. So they dip below the line. Sometimes there's 3 guys wide underneath the line.
Yeah.
You don't even see that in real NASCAR, for God's sake, number one. Number two, half these guys set up, when they come back above the line, it offsets the car so bad, they dart. Like, what the hell?
Well, and like to Tom's point, like the being aware, you can only be so aware if somebody's on your back left quarter panel.
Agreed.
Oh yeah, 110%. I mean, you usually know that they're there by the time you're spinning through the infield.
Right.
Yeah.
At Kansas, Mike.
So, I mean, I understand it, but at the same time, like if everybody else is gonna dip and you're gonna be the only person not to dip, you have to expect you're gonna get doored.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I have a general rule of thumb. If I start on the high side and I don't have, we'll say, AJ live spotting for me, if I enter the front stretch on the high side and there's a car below me, I do not go lower than the middle line without hitting that button to my left, because I'm a poor broke boy on one screen, to look left. And I stay that middle lane unless I look left and I see that he's below the 8.
Right.
Cool. I have an
If
unpopular.
I can't hear him, if I can't see him and I don't hear my spotter say you're clear, I will not travel any lower.
Right.
So, unpopular question / opinion. How many mirrors do you guys run? I run one, just the rear view. I don't run sides in any of the cars.
I run the rear view and the left side. Mainly
the reason I don't run those is because I feel like if I'm running my line, I'll see it in the rear view. I pull down. I mean, it's typically clear.
Right.
I run a left side. I feel like somebody's always there, so I tend not to run my line.
So what is your field of view on your rear view?
I'd have to look. I think it's 110.
Okay. Because a lot of the reason why I run the side mirror is because even with the rear view mirror, I can't see the quarter panel.
Right.
Okay. So I run a 49 ultra wide, so it's probably it's more like a triple screen monitor for me. But again, I don't run side mirrors for that reason, because I'll constantly feel like there's somebody on each quarter if I run those, and it slows me down because I'm more worried about where they're going.
See, I don't pay that close of attention most of the time to that mirror, but at Kansas, you bet your sweet ass I was watching that left side, especially if I was running the white line, because of the fact, I mean, hell, there was one race, the one that Korn did with William. Guy gets bumped, he winds up down in the grass, he never shuts off, and then hits the damn brakes just as he gets to the pavement, winds up stopping up in the corner, and 3 guys just drill him, and he acts like it's not his fault. Well, I got shoved into the grass. Dude, did you even attempt to hit the brakes? And sure as shit,
so do most of you guys drive with your relative in your rear view? So that's all I drive. Like at a track like Kansas, when I'm coming off the corner, I'm looking at that relative. If they're 0.3 or less, I have a feeling they're going to try to dip it below me, right?
Right. I mean, I've got relative up, I've got standings up, I've got my track map. Yeah, I've got my spotter, but again, some of these guys, they get a run.
Oh shit.
And then they dip down below the line and then just pop back up while there's 3 guys that are outside and don't think anything of it, like somebody's going to let off.
Right.
Well, and I think that ties into the guys coming over from road. Because how many road courses have multiple lines? None.
Right.
Exactly none. When you go to an oval, which is what makes oval racing that much more interesting, is that there can be multiple lines through a turn or around a track. Now, I will say at Kansas, there in the turns, there's typically 2 to 3 lines, right? High, middle, low. And in the straightaway, how many lines are there? 1. And we're all fighting over that 1 line in the straightaway.
Okay.
I don't think that any, like, at least where I found the problems in my races were the guys coming off the corner down the straightaway. You know, the guy running the high side, or actually, a lot of the races I was in, the low side was the side that was working. So the guy coming off the high side would see the car coming up and would either not lift and just let the next corner happen because, you know, nobody has patience.
Right.
Right.
Or they would just door into each other and then, you know, pinball. It was just astounding to me how often that happened. And it seemed like the lower in splits that I got, the better that got, and I don't understand why.
Well, I'm in an IS right now, and I just watched somebody clear themselves on the straightaway from the bottom.
The lower splits, without a doubt, have more respect because it's all guys trying to run the line they think or they were told was the fastest one.
Right. And essentially,
the ego's completely removed, and it's a lot of guys that are just trying to run the fast laps, right?
Right.
And that's why I asked the mirror question. I've always wondered that. So I know what I run. I've always wondered, what does everybody else around me do that makes them feel like they're clear when they're not? And I think people run too many mirrors.
Sonar.
Or they run the racing line. And they are trying to run what they think they think to be the fastest line because they want to get to the higher split, but that's not how it runs up there.
So I run the indicators through Race Labs, and it has saved my ass more times than I care to count because it doesn't shut off the little dots on the screen. They don't shut off until, you know, that person's clear. Whereas I've had the spotter go, "You're clear," and it's like, "No, I'm fucking not."
Corn, how many times you tell me I was clear and I wasn't clear?
Like I have actually had the in-game spotter say you're clear, and my blind spot indicator light is still lit up like a freaking Christmas tree.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I'm just like, and I look over, and I'm like, yeah, not even fucking close. They're at my door.
Right.
So when does internet lag come into play there too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that. And I have a feeling the iRacing spotter tells you about the lane below you, not 2 lanes below you.
Right.
And that changes so rapidly.
Plus, not to mention, in dirt, they don't even tell you the cars on your inside or outside when you're in dirt oval. It's really stupid. Or, like, in the turns, I mean.
Right.
Like, spotter, it's clearly not clear. I can see that car right next to me. How are you saying it's clear?
Right, but then your indicator or your radar, whatever the hell you want to call it, still shows that you have a car there.
Right.
So I guess maybe that depends on how crew chief is pulling in that info, but I don't know. It seems kind of odd. I don't know.
It's also how fast you process the info and make the decision based on that info too, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you may be clear when it says it, but that's when you're clear at a track like Kansas. I mean, it's all relative to me. You have to drive on the relative versus the mirrors or anything else at a track like Kansas. Same with Daytona, Talladega, any mile and a half, really. Anyone where you can come off 4 and get a run on somebody, you have to drive off the relative, in my opinion.
Well, that's every track ever.
Yeah.
I don't short track race, so
Something to do it.
Oh, what the hell was the other thing that I was going to say with Kansas?
I had better races week 12 at Richmond in the 87 than I did at Kansas this week.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I only ran one of them.
Okay, I won my one race at Richmond.
So what was the other thing though with Kansas? Oh, and this is going to be a gripe anywhere. It's not just a Kansas thing, but I noticed it with week 13 because again, you have guys coming from road or whatever because there's nothing else that's official. I'll go work on my oval rating this week. Don't show up to a race and ask me for a setup. Like if
now, hang on. We've gone over this before. You remember the thing of way back when where guys would come in and be like, "Hey guys, this is what I just ran that time with.
Yeah.
See what you can do with it."
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that kind of needs to come back. Now, with regards to where you're coming from, and I believe that's from the money side, right? Because you spent good money on your setup,
Right.
right? Don't ask me for it because I bought it. It's mine. Off.
I don't even give a shit about the setup. My whole thing is like, you knowingly signed up for this race, right? You knew it was an open setup. You chose not to even go looking for one? Come on.
Lazy.
Yeah.
Or at least try to edit what you got to make it work.
Something, anything.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, I think I've entered one open setup race, and it was back when I first started iRacing. I had no idea. I didn't know anything about setups, where to find setups.
Right.
I hopped into a race. I realized it was open, and I went, huh. And I keyed the mic. I said, hey, I've never done an open setup race. And he tips. And somebody immediately told me, hey, there's websites out there you can use. I think the race I entered was a truck race. He goes, I pulled a setup off of OS Racing. It's free. And there's multiple setup shops out there that offer free setups. I mean, you've got the main two that I've ever used for free setups: Major's Garage, OS Racing.
Oh, VR
old school racing is great.
VRS does them too.
Right.
So I think on that note, like personally, the best experience I had with people like that were willing to help out with trying to figuring out setups and trying to find setups was the C-Class Legends. That was by far the most helpful people in that area.
You could also make the argument that's what every setup shop has built their reputation on too. Those same cars. EPI, they might get 160 wins a week. 113 of those are in those same cars. That's where they got their start,
Right.
So I think that community that was there last year is gone. I think COVID's over for the setup shop era too. They're not as giving as they used to be. Now it's all about pumping the dollar. They're all going to a paid model.
Well, and I feel like with setup shops anyways, it's always about pumping the dollar for them.
And ego.
You look at, and I'm not going to get into specifics here, but there's, obviously we all know the one setup shop that it seems like it's all about the dollar for them anymore these days. It doesn't really seem like it's about the actual setup and making the racer happy.
What's that?
I think I know which one you're talking about. The one that nobody can drive?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Negative 10 offset?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's most of them.
Yep.
Nope, never heard of it.
I think the places like Buster's Corner, like I said, I know they've went to a little bit of a paid model, but it's all through Discord.
But their setups are also really damn good.
And they're all tested by the guys in that server. And if I remember, I think the guys from EPI were kind of in the Buster's side of things too. So, they work really well for a bunch of guys that all they do is do this as a hobby. Like, they come up with some pretty killer setups.
Who's that EPI?
Buster's Corner.
I got you. So I don't know on that. I know obviously the EPI guys have Conti, Ottinger, Dustin, the crew chief for that NASCAR Coke Series team, doing A, B, and C.
Mm-hmm.
It's expensive though. I mean, if you're racing in their deal, their expectation is you're going to gain 1,000 iRating in that one season you're signed up. If you don't gain 1,000, they're disappointed in you and themselves. So give them a lot of credit for that. But it's expensive. I mean, that is basically saying I'm dedicating the next 13 weeks to getting better.
Oh, dude, it's same thing.
Me, that's not my game.
Same thing with the Makoni. I mean, the Makoni, or not Makoni, but what was the other one?
I don't think Makoni's what you meant there.
The Ryko. I've used a Ryko. Fast as shit. Hands down, one of the fastest setups I've ever used. Do I want to pay that kind of money? Fuck no.
No.
but it's fast.
Oh, dude.
and that's
It-
and that's where guys will
Yeah.
spend the money on it.
Um,
Is they know it's fast.
I kind of akin this to like the open motor versus the spec motor thing, like in actual racing. I don't know if you have it with the motorcycles or not, but when we have the when we had the open motors with the pro stocks, you put money in to win.
oh yeah.
When you had a spec motor, you just kind of ran what they gave you.
Well, you run into it with Moto. I mean, they've got a stock and a mod class.
Right, but
Now
that's
that-
the same thing with the fixed and the open setup. What I'm getting at is that with the open setup, if you want to go fast, you're going to pay through the nose.
Well, I mean, to give you an idea, a single user for the NIS, so that's all season, $396 for a Ryko.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Now that being said, the more that I tweak on my own setups, I was doing 200 at Daytona in a goddamn next gen car, which generally you don't see that.
Right.
So if I could pull 200 and I didn't spend the money for the Ryko, I had a winning setup. Like literally, if I could get out front, nobody was going to touch me, and I proved that in my one race. So you don't need a setup shop to be able to get a car to haul the mail. You just don't.
No.
But my whole thing still is like, again, how are you going to jump into an open setup oval race, full knowing it's an open setup, and then try begging for setups?
And really, it happens on the roadside too. I've heard it quite often on the roadside. You'll hop into an open setup race, and which a good majority of races on the roadside are open setups. A good majority.
Oh yeah.
And you hop into those races, and like when I say I hear it all the time, I used to hear it all the time. Now it's getting to a point where you almost barely hear it now. You know, I think over the past 6 months, I've heard it a dozen times.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, and that's the other half of the reason that I decided to go with VRS is because I get the oval, I get the road. If the oval's not super fast, I can make it fast. The road, I'll be quite honest, when it comes to road setups, I don't really know what I'm doing for a road setup. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean,
all too well.
Shameless admission here. If I got into an open setup and Tom was in there, I'd probably send him a private message and ask if he can share me a setup, because odds are I didn't have one for whatever we were racing together.
Right.
So I don't, verbally blast, but I think people listening to this should understand, if you see somebody you recognize and maybe race with in a different series, it's okay to send them a private message if they want to share. That's great. If their setup shop's cool with it.
That too.
There's a guy. I'm not gonna put out names, but there's a guy that I race with, or at least used to race with quite often, and hopped into an NIS race with him, and he tore the house down.
Oh, I remember this.
I private messaged him, and I was just like, "Dude, you got to let me get that setup." It was just like you killed it. I mean, he led most of the laps, won the race, and he was just like, "Yeah, dude, I got you. Just
he walked.
Don't give it to anybody else."
He walked everybody by a mile. I mean,
Beetlejuice?
No. We all know who the person is, but okay. But yeah, I don't know. I think, like I said, I think iRacing is going to have to do something during week 13, because you do get a lot of idiots that they jump in, and it kind of causes chaos. So, that being said, so
I have one more thing I want to say about Kansas.
Okay.
And really, it's every track. And I've said it before, and I'll say it 1,000 more times. Hold your fucking brakes if you get spun.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's
You
not
got-
that's not even a Kansas thing. Like I watched JD's video.
Everywhere, man.
That's
That's
an
everywhere.
every track thing.
I watched
Like-
JD's video, and this dude, I think it was a next gen race at Daytona. It was an '87 race. Dude gets dumped and just lets it roll from the top right in front of everybody.
Yeah.
As we talking about that Darlington race.
Yes, it was the one that Nick got collected in, and this dude
Yeah.
he backs down from the wall and just swings it around, not a care in the world for anybody else.
Yeah.
See, something I have learned: if you get wrecked, you immediately lock it down. You reduce your chances of getting killed by another car
Yep.
by about 50%, if not more.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
You're always going to have some idiot in there that he's just driving along. Oh, there's smoke. I wonder what that is. Smash.
So
Pretty much.
Can I have
That-
one more on oval racing, real quick? I'm watching Cybers currently compete in the NIS, and running a NASCAR paint scheme that mimics an actual driver does not make you fast like them.
Yeah.
Running the Casey's car with pizza over your rear quarter panel isn't going to make you Kyle Busch.
Nope.
Just park it in the pits.
You're not.
Run
you're
your
not
own
dealing.
thing. Do your own thing. Like, be you on iRacing.
Yeah, that I would agree. I mean, don't get me wrong. I always like seeing a classic one, like a Harry Gant skull car or something like that. But
With that,
Don't be like Mr. Justin Johnson.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm watching a guy in the
with that-
Casey's car currently try to park it into the wall every turn right now. So
Remember when
That
he
was,
did that wheel thing at the end of the race, like he would do, like, dude, you're not him. You're not that guy.
Oh yeah, and I called him out on it, and then he wanted to be a total d-bag. Like, really, man? So obviously we got the update this last week.
Mhm.
The Pontiac is finally here. How many guys have already switched to it? Obviously, I know myself and JD have.
Yeah.
I'm kind of on
Oh,
the
it's
fence.
not.
tracks.
I just
Wait,
downloaded
did
the
you just say?
Pontiac,
Did you
boys.
just say I swapped to the Pontiac?
I knew you were working on it.
Yeah, I'm just not swapping to it as my primary car.
I haven't even
James
been able
got
to get.
14 from primary cars.
I'm
I
thinking
haven't
of
even
switching.
been able to get on iRacing since the update. So
Oh,
I mean, I've
God.
got everything downloaded, but I've got everything downloaded and updated. I just haven't been able to. I haven't been home in almost a week, so there you go.
Oh God.
I just wanted it on the roster because it's such a cool car.
Right.
I mean, I drove it at Daytona. Damn thing's fast, and it holds. I didn't
Well,
have.
my Chevy still pulled away from the field.
Okay, we'll see.
Mm.
I
Hey,
didn't.
Jay, your YouTube comments are firing off. By the way,
I've seen this.
That's because I'm here.
But my new video is up, and my comments are on fire. Apparently, somebody said
Yay.
something about somebody needing to hit brakes, but no, to me the Pontiac feels stable. Obviously
For now.
I've only tested it at one track. Yeah, until iRacing gets their hands on it. Now I haven't tested the grass and dirt theory yet. I heard the update to that ruined the jump at Bathurst. So
Yes.
apparently the dirt finally stops you, so nobody can do the jump anymore.
I can confirm that you can 100% stop on grass if you get spun, because it happened to me at Kansas in a practice session.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I got spun. I think I bounced off the wall or something like that. That thing that I do every race 500 times.
Yeah.
And
Hanging out with your wife?
Yeah. And car goes down to the grass. And I locked it down. And I waited a good moment before I locked it down. I ain't gonna lie. And I came to a pretty quick stop. So all of this, Oh, I was sliding through the grass. I couldn't get the car to stop. Yeah, that stops. Because guess what? That car stops.
I will say you do still flip in the 87s.
I couldn't get it.
Because I've tried. So it's weird.
If you're running a setup, you might not be able to, but
I mean, I was running the base setup, so I have no idea.
I tried flipping after my ridiculousness race in the Pontiac, and I was running a 40-degree spoiler. I couldn't get that bastard to flip.
You weren't trying hard enough, my friend.
Well, yeah, I literally had one shot at it, so.
It almost sounds like you didn't want to flip it.
No, I wanted to flip it. I just had one shot at it. That's it.
Hey, if you wanted it bad enough, it would have happened. Shot.
Well, you could just name this podcast "Mom Spaghetti" then.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
Right. I'm
trying to think.
Oh yeah, it was not worth it. Take tires there. Oh well.
Well, I guess the only other thing I've got for this tonight is obviously we had the first round of the season for my my 87s league. I won. Spoiler alert.
You're welcome.
Hey, Tom, I'm telling you, and I'll put this out for public consumption. I was full ready for you to send me coming out of 4.
I'm not a dirty racer.
You're not going to do a bump and run.
I'm not a dirty racer. I didn't say I wouldn't do a bump and run. I'm not a dirty racer.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is I tried to wreck AJ for the win in Monza, and
I still won.
All I'm going to say is, Tom, you ran me a little hard yesterday.
I ran you hard.
I'll tell you all
I did
this.
not run you dirty.
Although you did kind of run me off the track at one point.
By the way,
I will.
Go ahead, go ahead, Eric.
I will crash each and every single one of you to get that win.
Well, I also have video proof in my intro video that I created. That the video was sent to me anonymously. I don't know how I got it. I don't want to know how I got it. Of somebody getting gamified because if he can't win, nobody else should.
Nobody can.
Oh, hey guys, we're in a podcast.
Gamified, huh?
I believe I care. I cleared complete gomination by roughly an inch and a half. That race.
Oh my God!
Mutually assured domination.
So, Tom, don't tell me that you wouldn't do it.
I'm saying I'm not a dirty racer. I didn't say I didn't race hard.
Are you pleading the fifth? Is that what's going on here?
I'm saying I'm not a dirty racer.
The question was, it was the lap.
Everything's great. I'm glad to be back here in Phoenix and hope to get on the track.
It was the last lap. Tom gets wrecked all the way off the track, and Tom hooks it right back up the track and almost clips me. I said, "Hey man, why'd you almost kill me?" And he goes, "Oh dude, if I can't win, nobody's gonna win."
Oh shit!
Oh god, that was a
whip.
That was a long time ago.
It was a month and a half ago, Tom.
I don't.
Was it?
I don't know how I came to be in possession of that clip, and I will not rat somebody out.
Mike.
But no. Speaking of domination, it happened to Mike at Daytona in my race. I literally watched it. All because Gomer Pyle got a little loose below the mustard, and then he dominated Mr. Singleton.
I did?
Oh, yeah. It's in the video.
Oh, shit. Oh.
Can you give me a marker?
I just hit a fucking deer.
Just go look for me trying to pull up behind cars and not being able to
What?
close the gap. It's around there.
Yeah. So,
Oh shit.
where were we at? We were talking about the 87s race. All in all, I think that race went pretty well. Like, we didn't have any major issues, which was good. Yeah, I mean, I feel like a couple of people maybe missed their mark on setup, which obviously happens.
Can we talk about how my paint scheme changed mid-race?
Yeah.
Whoa!
Eric, Tom, it literally, that was all done in one record. And it changed on me. I didn't even realize it until I'm like, where's Tom? He was, why is the car blue? And then it flips back to red at one point. I'm just like, Trading Paints is so messed up right now. It's stupid.
Oh, dude, I'm getting paint schemes on the wrong car. Like I'm having a late model paint scheme on on a next gen.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. I don't understand.
I don't think it's Trading Paints though. I think it's iRacing.
Well, what it is I'm sure iRacing changed something, and Trading Paints hasn't caught up with that yet. So until they do, it's going to keep doing this.
I hope they're aware of it.
Oh, I'm sure
they are.
I'm sure they are at this point. But, no, I watched Eric actually race a pretty damn good race in the 87. I think Rockingham Tuesday night's going to make it interesting because now it's going to even the playing field a little bit.
And you'll have live race control.
Yeah, and we'll have live race control, so that'll be good. But I
just gotta learn how to set up a car.
I gotta find a setup for Rockingham because I don't have one, so I've got to do that probably Monday before the actual 87 series kicks back off this week.
Well, I mean, and I'm just talking about I need to learn how to build my own setup just straight up off the baseline, and and work it to match my driving style.
A lot of the setups,
that's what I do.
Take the baseline, whatever iRacing has, and then just start tweaking.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
No,
it's just there's all that camber and this and that and compression and blah 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 and air pressure.
Right.
It's just like I'm not a fucking engineer.
Somewhere I have a cheat sheet on making adjustments with the cars.
I've got one too.
I should grab it and post it somewhere, but
it's just I just look at it like this. I don't even change my own fucking oil. So
okay then.
Yeah, my car's under warranty. I want that fucking paper trail. Now, like, when I had my old Dodge and everything, I worked on that motherfucker by myself. But,
right.
If the car's under warranty, no, I want that fucking paper trail.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But no, I think we had 15 cars for the first one. And, I anticipate it to grow. I feel like it will. The more that people start seeing the videos and everything else, but
I mean, and it was a respectable field, especially
it really was
for it being the first race of the league. So
yeah, it really
15
was.
15 cars, it's not bad.
No, and there were some dumb cautions in there. Shit happens, right? Nobody really got upset with each other, which is good. I like that. I didn't have to break anything up. Nobody sent in a protest this week, so that's cool.
Shit, I gotta send that in, don't I?
I was looking for any protest, and I didn't see any.
Nope, there wasn't one.
There was one that I thought might be coming in, but I guess not.
Why? Which one?
The guy who left.
Oh, Damien or Mike?
Well, I was trying not to say his name.
I don't care.
Why? What did them do?
Are you talking about because Eric had that run? And
I don't know what happened. I just know Damien left.
So Eric had a hell of a run. Like, you could actually, it's in the video, and I kind of break it down because I did that with almost every wreck. But Eric he steamrolled past these guys. And then he ran out of nowhere to go because you and Tom come down in front of him. So he's got to hit the brakes. So he kind of hits the brakes, but at the same time, it starts to float up into the corner, and Damien kind of lets him in. But when he does, it takes the air off of Eric's car, and Eric starts to spin. Damien didn't have time to hit the brakes, drove right through him. And I think you guys were talking about it on Monday, like, racing incident, like, it just happened. There's just shit. Like Damien said, he went by me, he had a hell of a run. He goes, if the bottom stayed open, it was fine. But it didn't. It closed, and unfortunately, racing incident, shit happens. So.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna watch the entire thing once we get done here.
Well, let me check that because I think it was still in the process of. doing its thing. But yeah, it's still processing. So it's been
All right.
it's
1
been
week since you looked at me.
no, it's been 4 hours of processing.
Good God.
Yeah,
Sometimes it takes that long.
I've never ran into this problem ever.
I have. It happens.
But what else? Oh,
Maybe it's because you cheated your way to monetization.
That could be.
So hang on. He gets dominated because he lost it in front of me.
What? No, you and Mike wind up getting into each other.
Because he hit Mike.
You're looking at the wrong one.
Haley.
You're looking at the wrong one. It's later in the race.
About an hour and a half in.
You wind up. I see you get loose under the mustard, and then you bounce off of his door, and you
need to go back and watch that clip again.
To me, it looked like he dominated him.
No. He went into the turn.
Uh-huh.
Doors McHaley. He gets loose. I get him.
Dang.
Paint that like I did it.
I don't know. I tried to make the commentary funny, okay? People like
you
funny.
Failed. You failed.
No, you just didn't find it funny. Everybody else got. I think it's hilarious.
Bad jokes.
Call it like I see it.
The laugh.
Toaster bath. Actually, I said that line in there.
I didn't hear it yet.
It's not in that section. It's earlier in the race. But and Tom, you made the thumbnail.
Yeah, I make a lot of your thumbnails for whatever reason. I think that's kind of weird.
I literally picked something, and you happen to be leading at the lap that I stopped on. So there you go. But no, like I said, I didn't think that the race was horrible. I think the open setup made the cars a lot more fun to drive.
Yes,
compared to
100%.
Yeah, compared to doing a fixed setup, it almost makes you want to quit doing the fixed setup races. But I really wish that they would offer an open setup for the 87s. I really think it'd make that series hella competitive.
I mean, even with the WNIS, I mean that's got an open set and a split and a fixed set.
Yeah,
I mean, and I have a blast with those.
Yep, I did a couple of them, and I don't remember. I think I might have bugged Korn about where to get a setup for the sucker, because at the time I didn't. I'm like, dude, where do I even get a setup for these things?
We're still recording?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But no, I just, like I said, I think the series has potential, especially with where we started at. I think, if we can start getting some more guys racing, I'd like to see a full 40 car field, because I think with the open setup, it can be very doable. So I was pretty happy. Everybody walked away. Nobody was pissed, and I don't have protests, so that's cool in my book.
There's one more thing that I want to bring up.
Okay.
And you'll probably have to edit it to be before this, because it goes back to regular iRacing stuff.
Okay.
Why is... I'm gathering my thoughts. Give me a second here.
Okay.
Pause for
Why
edit.
is iRacing making a Draft Master series?
Yes.
That is no cautions, short laps, and
is ranked.
official.
It's essentially
Yes.
the Carb Cup.
That's
Basically,
exactly what it is. It is an official version of the Carb Cup.
Which is going to wind up
different-
like, I'll tell you right now, that series sounds so cool, but it's going to turn into a shit show like iRacing.
What exactly
Yeah,
is it again? I
So,
don't think I've heard about
JD,
that.
what it is they go to Daytona, and then they go to Talladega, and you're going to have, like, was it 5 weeks at Daytona, or 6 weeks at Daytona and 6 weeks at at Talladega, and each week it's going to change car. So once they go,
just like
it's
just like the Ringmeister series.
I think it's the Gen 4, the next gen, the car tomorrow, Xfinity, 87, and something else. Trucks.
Who would race that?
I would 100%. I would.
Dude, I would do it, but it's
here's the thing.
That's going to suck people out of the other series.
I want to do it just so I can build my iRating back up.
That's going to suck people out of
just
the other
proved my
series.
point. That's
but
probably
JD,
what it's going to be used for.
The problem is it's 15 laps, no cautions. It's going to be a shit show.
Why would anyone go on the carb cut then?
Yeah, that's why we said it's
that's going to make it very arcadey, and I don't like that.
Right.
It is a official carb cut. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I was all about this series until they said 25 laps. Or it was 15 laps, no cautions.
I lost interest on the no cautions part.
Right.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with that series. There is no way in hell that series is not going to be abused to hell just so people can gain a little bit of iRating.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to use it just for that.
Yeah.
I've already said it.
Yeah,
that's the only reason why I'm even going to race that series is strictly for my iRating.
Yeah.
If I race that series, I'm going to race it for safety rating and just hang out in the back.
And what's gonna stop somebody from like grinding out to like 8K iRating or some shit, and it just be absolutely terrible at speedway, short tracks, and road courses and shit,
or anything above a street stock?
Then that's on them.
Hot take.
You know, they're gonna get their asses up there to that 8K iRating. Oh, look at me! With you know, let them go ahead and have their 8K iRating, thinking they're hot shit, but they can't drive on a regular track.
Right.
You know.
Right.
You know me. I want to use it just so I can get my iRating where it should have fucking been a month ago, so I can race with my friends. You know, because I keep getting fucked out of camp. You know.
Yeah.
Some people can make the same argument for DJE though, because he races ARCA.
Shit.
Exactly.
And he loves the ARCA series, and that's what he runs. And I mean, he is so high because of that series.
Yeah, but okay, you could look at a guy like Talon Smith who runs nothing but rookie street stocks, has an 8,000 iRating, and the only time I've ever seen him in races is if it's speedway or super speedway in the 87s. It's the only time he shows up.
Now, here's my hot take.
Yeah.
Anybody above a D class should not be in a rookie race.
Agreed.
And that's how it was. That's how it was for a long time. And then they just changed it.
Yeah.
Like there are C class versions of the street stocks and the Legends cars. I know because I used to tear it up in the C class Legends.
Well, then
the VRS.
And when they changed it, it killed the other series.
Right.
Because now, I'm going to go farm iRating.
Yeah, now we get these guys that, they might have 9,000, iRating, but it's because they're running rookie races against guys who literally joined the service last month.
Right.
Another hot take. iRating should have effect on your class licensing.
Yes.
Agreed.
100%.
I don't know what that number is.
I agree to an extent. I think if you consistently, show either maintain or improving your iRating, it should go towards keeping your license. Now, if you have a massive drop off in iRating,
like I did,
I'm talking like you go from a 4,000 to a 2,000. iRacing needs to look at that and they go, okay, we should drop this license.
So like 25 to 14.
I was thinking like 2,000 to 600. What?
What? Who?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hot take. Hot take sounds like hotcakes.
God.
Okay.
That's not a hot take.
JD's
That's a fact.
JD's thinking
Hot
about
take,
food
hot
again.
cakes.
We've lost JD to food.
Sorry.
So, in my opinion, I believe if you get up to A, you should only be able to go down 2 classes. You should be able to run C, but that's the lowest you should be able to go.
I would agree with that.
I disagree to an extent. Because
I know
there's a lot of guys that really enjoy the style of ARCA racing because it's balls to the wall from the beginning, no cautions, and they can just race their ass off.
I also don't think that I don't think that the ARCA car is a D class car.
You see, okay, I agree. What I really want is a C class ARCA series.
Yep.
Leave it fixed. I don't give a shit.
But give it cautions.
But make it longer races and give it cautions.
Now,
double the length of the race that you currently have going on, and give it cautions like you've done with the Gen 4 Cup.
Yep.
Is
Gen 4 B or C?
C.
Yeah.
I believe Gen 4 should be B, in my opinion.
I would agree with that too, because there's too many guys that are like, oh, it's like the ARCA car, then they go and race it at a super speedway and kill half the field.
Yep. It takes
part of the
more
problem
control.
Here's the thing. At a super speedway, it is as stable as the ARCA car. At Homestead, it is not.
No.
At Homestead, it is a different beast. At Homestead, if you get on that thing full throttle and you're not on the straightaway, guess whose ass is going around?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, another
what
hot
was the
take,
progression
horsepower
when you
affects
guys-
the setup.
When you guys signed up for iRacing, how did you progress through your NASCAR license? Street stock or Legends first?
So I did
Street sucks.
I did Legends.
Okay.
I did Legends because I was better at them.
I was street stock.
I
did
tried.
street stock.
I did some street stock. Didn't care for them, so I literally worked my ass off to get out of that car.
Yeah,
and
Got
then,
into ARCA.
Yep, I got it. Well, no, I got into 87s because 87s used to be a C class.
You're right. Well, no, ARCA's
Were they?
Yes.
Street stock for rookie, ARCA's a
Really?
D
I
class.
didn't know that.
No, for the NAS series they were.
Yeah,
Oh,
When they
winner
first
and
got
I.
released.
So
When it first got it was
the
a
only
B
point
class,
I'm going
or
to
it
make
was a
here.
C class.
The only point I'm trying to make here, in the street stocks and the actual ARCA car, they're not trying to teach you racecraft, cautions, or any of that.
But
They're literally trying to teach you how to get around the track and not hit shit on the way around.
Here's the problem: is because of because they don't have cautions in with the ARCAs.
Mm-hmm.
It's already creating bad habits of these idiots that don't fucking break for a wreck.
Yep. You got to lock us out. I mean, they should be locking, honestly, in my opinion, and this is very unpopular, but Legends, Street Stocks, and ARCA, they should lock us higher guys out and give us our own version of those races to do, maybe. But lock us out of those so the new people can actually come in and race. Because half the wrecks caused in those rookie splits are by us with our egos, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would agree.
I actually did a rookie street stock race at the Charlotte Legends Oval because I'm a glutton for punishment and it's one of my favorite short tracks. And I saw it was myself and 3 other A class guys in there. We had a D class and the rest of them were rookies. Okay. Dude, myself and the rookies were talking so much shit about the other A class guys because they were just dumping people. And I literally, at one point I said, you dump, you will have some serious life choices to think about.
Yeah.
Whether you ever want to get back on iRacing or not, because every time I find you, I'll put you through a wall.
Now, I will say this: the way they kind of rated these cars is kind of dumb. And here's why. I don't think that the Craftsman trucks, the street stocks, and the Gen 4s are on the same tier.
Oh, not at all.
I also don't think that the late models, the super late models, and the two modifieds, or the sprint cars, are D-class cars. Those cars are the hardest cars I've ever seen to drive.
Yeah. I am a firm believer that they need a fixed license class. So you have rookie D through and then D through A. They need a fixed license class because and I don't know what call it a legacy class for all I give a shit. But you have to obtain this license in order to drive those cars. And when I'm talking about those cars, I'm talking about specifically
Gen 4.
The Gen 4s, the Legends cars. There's a couple of other ones in there that I would mix into that. We'll throw in the sprint cars and the freaking silver crowns because guess what? I can't drive those fuckers.
Oh, the silver crowns are a blast.
Oh man!
Oh yeah!
You can figure those cars out. They are an absolute ball.
Yeah.
We should actually do our own weekly split of those. Once a week on a random night, we should all hop in and do silver crowns together.
Like they go official every Monday night for the 7:30 split. I think there's a group of guys.
Those are the pros. We should do it the next night.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if we all go in, they're gonna join, guaranteed.
Right.
Yeah. No doubt.
You know what? Which is fine.
But the system's broken. The system's very broken. It's based more on. I don't like the way the iRating is done. I don't think most of us do. Right. The guys that want to do 1.5 miles in super speedways. It's hard to get back to a 4.9 or maintain your license sometimes because you have to go bad week and then go on vacation. Well, you're getting dumped.
Dude, I've been flirting with losing my A license because we've had super speedways the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So see, AJ said something the other day to me. Post race. I think it was the Kansas race that I did.
Okay.
One of the Kansas races that I did. I finished this race with a 0x. It is. I can count on one hand the amount of 0x races that I have had in the last 6 months.
Right.
It's pretty, and that's sad. And that's me not driving aggressively, just trying to stay out of trouble and still, racing hard. And sure, I've gotten into a couple scrapes that, I've caused from, over driving the car or whatever. But 9 times out of 10, I am not the reason for my incident points. You want to talk about a broken system? Get rid of the no fault. Get rid of the no fault.
Incident points
System. Or come up with a way where you can, if you can't get rid of the no fault incident system, come up with a way to where you can send into iRacing a replay and be like, hey, I had nothing to do with this wreck. I got caught up because, this guy didn't hold his brakes.
They have that. It's called a protest system.
But they don't give you any shit back.
Well, that's true.
Right. You don't get.
But you could still use the protest system to get that.
They wouldn't be able to keep up, though. There's no way.
They might have to hire a few more people, but
yeah,
I mean, hell, I'd do it.
You would be a good candidate.
I actually thought about being an alpha tester.
I had that short thought for a little while too, and I was like, I don't got that kind of time.
Yeah,
I did it, guys. I saved my A license.
Nice.
My safety rating's up to 2.49, and I'm almost at 1,300 iRacing.
Oh, man, Mike's going to join us real soon.
1298. Nice. I'm at 1298.
Nice.
I just raced a fixed setup in an open race with trucks and came in 7th.
Again?
Attaboy, Mike.
Oh my God.
You're good at that, Mike.
Quit doing that. It's a bad idea.
Hey, it's
But
working for him.
It's working.
That's
That's
how I
the
started
problem.
my iRacing career. Was I didn't have access to any setup, so
Yeah,
it
it's
was
like-
all just.
Well, I mean, that's what
tinkering.
we were talking about earlier, because of the fact that, where do you get setups when you start doing some of these, and you just got to know,
Well,
unfortunately.
Or just run a fixed.
Yeah, or just do what Mike does. Shit.
Yep.
Actually, Mike, I'm going to send you. I'm going to put a couple setups that I had to buy.
And see,
I couldn't drive any of them.
here's the fun thing about that. All right, you can use a fixed setup in those open series.
Yeah.
All you have to do is figure out how to drive it for that open race.
Well, and it's the same kind of idea that I've run into racing dirt bikes. I always was a small bore guy. I rode 125s forever. And it's still fun when I go get on my 125 and I pass a guy on a 450 and I got that 125 just wrung right out like a chicken with its head cut off. So yeah, when you beat somebody with a fixed setup in an open setup race, it feels good. So
I mean, this isn't saying much, but I can do it at Daytona, no problem.
well, yeah.
Yeah, this is truck.
And I see these, and I see all these guys going, "How did you do that with a fixed setup?" And I'm like,
Right.
well, first of all, it's Daytona. Fixed setup isn't going to be much different from anything that anybody's running,
Right.
because we all need to draft anyway.
Yeah. Well,
Second of all, it's just don't lose the fucking draft.
Yeah.
I will add to the question or the topic earlier of like how did everyone start with like where they get out of rookies. The rookie trucks is another thing that I used a lot when I first got on.
Rookie truck.
Yeah, but that's not official.
Yep,
Talking
they
about
used
the
to.
carburetor cup or something.
Nope,
No.
they used to have the truck class, the legacy trucks
Oh,
were rookie.
It used to be official.
They called it a sport truck kind of thing.
Yep. I've been on
That
since
sounds terrible.
2019, 2020. So I've
Okay,
been on,
see, I got on at the end of 22, and by then they'd made that carb cup, and we only had the legends, or you had the street stocks, and then in road you had the V's, and it was either the V's or the damn Miatas. I can't drive those Miatas to save my life.
I love those little Miatas.
I can drive the shit out of a V. I can't drive a Miata.
I'm the opposite. The V is ugh.
Yeah, I don't like the V either. I like the Miata.
The V is fun as hell when you figure out how to shift it and everything. You're good. The other thing is realistically to drive the V correctly, you need a load cell brake pedal. Because otherwise you'll overpower the brakes and it'll spin like a top.
I even use the brakes.
Well, I'll have my chance shortly.
I mean, it is rookie. You don't need brakes.
Yeah, that's true. You can just ARCA brake it. Wait, what? I thought we were trying to get away from that.
So I did the asphalt on the oval side. I did the street stocks. Went from the street stocks to the ARCA car. You went from the ARCA car to the truck. Went from the truck to the Xfinity, from the Xfinity to the Cup car, and with the 87 sprinkled in with the B class.
See, I did the Legends to ARCA to the 87 and then the 87 to I wound up getting the next gen with. So
See,
I
have a very unpopular opinion. I enjoy the hell out of those next gen cars. And I hear it all the time that they're crap to drive.
I don't mind them.
And it's not that they're crap to drive, it's that you've got to learn how to drive them.
Well, the big
I know how to drive. Don't get me wrong. It's just that dirty air is such a bitch in these cars, man.
Well, it's not just that. It's not just that. It really comes down to like, okay, the car is very easy to drive, quite honestly. The problem is the drivers in the series don't. They keep thinking it's going to be like the Gen 4, the 87, and you're just going to be able to rocket past. No, if you don't got somebody coming with you, you ain't going anywhere. There's just not enough motor.
That's the only thing I don't like about it. You know, it is very draft dependent.
Yeah.
Like, even
but when you're in the but when you're in the draft, it slows you all the hell down, man. So you can't win. Yeah.
Well, the one thing that, you know, and this kind of comes to a NASCAR thing, and after driving it in the sim, it's like they want to make the car more safe, right? You got to let these guys be able to spread out, or otherwise it doesn't matter how safe the car is. If the cars can't get away from each other before the wreck happens, you're okay. Now, instead of taking out 2-3 guys, we're going to take out half the field.
Yep.
Right.
That's what NASCAR wants. They want the entertainment value.
Today's Kansas race was the closest I saw to the old style of racing where these guys got spread out in a long time.
Well,
and it's because the race actually was able to go green for a while. You know, you had your major cautions were freaking Martin Truex Jr. blowing a tire.
Yeah, early.
A couple other guys blowing a tire, and a single car spin.
Yeah.
So did they wind up having to do green flag pit stops for once?
Yep.
I think they did 2 sets of them.
Really?
Yeah.
That's shocking.
It was a great race.
Michigan had that this year too.
Well, because that's the thing is with the stage cautions and the fact that these cars keep piling up, you don't see green flag stops.
Right. In my opinion, this was one of the best races that I have seen since the inception of the next gen car.
Yeah, it was funny too because Suarez was at the lead at the end with no new tires. Then they had 4 guys with 2 tires, and the rest that took 4. So you had a big mix at the end doing that last couple of laps.
And I will say this, and I will die on this hill: Denny Hamlin is a playoff choke artist.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
He does this every year, every single year. He gets himself in the playoffs, and then he just fucking makes mistake after mistake after mistake. And everybody wonders, well, how come Denny hasn't won a championship? Well, because he fucking shits the bed every year.
Yeah, that last restart, like 6 cars went right by him.
Yeah,
and that motherfucker
restart.
Hamlin has the gall to say that Larson was hanging back. Get the fuck out of here.
It's always someone else's fault.
It's never
exactly.
He's like, Larson was hanging back, so I wanted to back up to him. No, dude, hey, don't worry about the car behind you. Worry about the cars in front of you, the ones that you're trying to pass.
Yeah, exactly, dumbass.
You dunce.
Well, it's like somebody once told me in racing, if you're looking if you're looking behind you, you can't race forward.
Right.
You can't. You're too busy focused on the guy behind you to wind up, actually being there. So.
And you bring that up, you see a lot of that.
Right.
Mirror driving.
Yep.
And guess what, folks? Mirror driving causes wrecks. Let that car go.
Yep.
And I'm guilty of it too.
I mean,
let that car go.
It works the same way when you're driving down the highway. You mirror drive, you're going to cause a wreck.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, but that's usually because there's traffic lights.
You pay attention to those?
Oh, sometimes it depends on what drug I'm taking.
So New York passed this law a while ago, right? Especially for the city. So standard is, greens go, yellow slow down, red is stop.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for the city, it's green is go, yellow is speed up, and red is 5 more cars.
I thought that red was stage, yellow means you've got 15 seconds, and then green is go.
It is way less than 15 seconds, I'll say that.
In Guam, the red means 12 more cars. I ain't lying.
I know you're not. Like,
oh god,
dude, we just came out of the Bronx today, man, and I'm just watching people just like. I thought I was gonna watch somebody die because like with the amount of people that just don't give a shit about the crosswalk. And just walking across 181st Street or 161st Street and just dead. I swear to God,
we got a crosswalk just up the road here, and mind you, I got out in front of my house. It's a 5-lane road with a turn lane up the middle. It's kind of busy, not like crazy. Like I have no problem walking across the street without a crosswalk. That's how busy it is. But these people, it's like a nature trail that they've put in that crosses 4 or 5 major roads like that. They'll just walk out. They don't even hit the button on the little flashy sign guy. They just walk out. It's like, dude, it's 40 miles an hour. I can't slow this damn thing down on 37s in an instant. Like people.
Flashy sign guy. I love it.
Well, no, when I was down in Muncie there, when I was talking to you guys,
yeah,
those guys just walked out in the middle of the road. I was like, "What are you doing? I'm at 80,000 pounds. You're gonna die."
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So